Welcome back, frenemies, to episode 79, our touchdown vulture episode. Oh, man. I'm your host, Chris. To my right, the commission, and to my left, the man of the people, Ryan. You know, I feel that touchdown vulture thing. We'll get to that later. But, guys, we're back and recharged from our camping retreat.
Yeah, we had
over this weekend.
A pretty good time there. Went down to First Landing State Park for those of you in Virginia.
Yeah, went a little glamping in an RV. You guys stuck me out in the wild to try to learn from my Gardner Minshew screw up. But
did that help at all? Or?
It kind of did.
Clear the head.
Clear the head. When you're one with the wild, things happen. But guess what's new, guys? We are on IGTV on Instagram, where there's a brand new platform for us to stream. We're not stream, but you guys can watch our recorded podcast episodes. So you still get it on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, watch it on YouTube. But now you can find us at FrenemiesFFPod on IGTV. So let's dive into some fantasy reactions. We got some guys we weren't expecting to talk about probably the whole season. But the first guy I want to bring up to you guys is Rex Burkhead. I don't wonder how many guys had him rostered and in the starting lineup, but you could have had from a half-point PPR league 31 fantasy points from Rex Burkhead. Did you expect that at all?
When I saw that box score, because I actually didn't get to watch that game specifically live, and I was just like, what? Rex Burkhead? And I kept seeing like the updates of, Rex Burkhead scored again. Again. Yeah, he's on most waiver wires. I think he was picked up in our Dynasty League this weekend. Good on whoever picked him up.
Good on him, yeah.
In a Dynasty League, he was sitting on the waiver wire.
I was in my Yahoo League. I still won this week, but I looked at Rex Burkhead or Brandon Ayuk, and I chose Ayuk over Burkhead. Good thing I didn't lose, because I would have kicked myself in the butt for a last-second injury pickup in the
But enough about the Patriots. We need to move on to...
this guy called Fitzmagic on Thursday night. This past Thursday night, Dolphins fans, would you like to ring in on that glorious
what you got for
victory?
us, Ryan?
Well, apparently the guy, he's always fun to watch. Like, it's always somebody that I wish that we could...
It's like a little kid out there.
Yeah. He looks the part. I just wish that he could, finish the season
sustain
on
it.
top. Yeah.
That would
Everyone
be
wants to see him succeed.
I mean, the important thing was the beard.
The beard
won.
beat the mustache and made a lot of fantasy guys like me. I put it underneath our umbrella name, but it was me saying Minshew's a must start, and he was showed up by Fitzmagic. Again, he wasn't the highest.
I think he heard you.
quarterback.
Fitzmagic was like, "What's
did.
all this Minshew love here?"
It was beard to beard. He's like, "How dare thee?" Right? But still,
that is how he would talk from Harvard.
a little north of 24 points. Yeah, Harvard education. You speak in Old English.
Harvard.
So he wasn't the top quarterback. He wasn't getting like Patrick Mahomes' number like Monday night. But still, the fashion that Fitzmagic did it and the charisma on the field, everyone was loving them some Fitzmagic. And if you were streaming him as a quarterback 2 in a 2 super flex type league, you were loving it. But let's talk about Mahomes here, winning the showdown against Lamar Jackson on Monday night.
Yeah, that for us here recording right now, that was last night, and I had something else I had to do for the first quarter, and I turned it on, and I was like, "Does he have 3 touchdowns already?" It was insane.
And that game was only good for Mahomes owners and Mahomes owners only. Right, we were going against each other in our local league, and you had CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
15 points, 40 points,
barely getting anything because
barely anything. 15 points.
Mahomes ran it in, but it was a close game. What, I beat you by like 7 or 8?
Yeah.
But Mahomes ran one in, threw it to a fullback, threw it to a left tackle.
Yeah.
Right? You were expecting a little more touchdowns to the other guys for bigger points. And then Lamar Jackson, it was under 200 yards of total offense. That was really tough. For fantasy
he got a little bit of a wake-up
fans.
call there that it's, he's not exactly going to just be able to run away with an MVP again. So I think it was good for the Ravens, honestly.
Yeah, a little wake-up call. Yeah, you're right. And then a little wake-up call in the CDC version
finally
of the NFL.
have our COVID thing going down here.
COVID
that we all feared.
Impact, Tennessee, Minnesota game. It was all on the Titans right now from what we heard this morning. 8 people, 3 players, 5 staff members. But this could impact 2 games this weekend.
Yeah, because you've got that game, and then they played Minnesota, and I guess Minnesota's saying they still have no tests positive.
No tests, but they have to do probably another retest. They may play the safe
side and just be like, you know what, these 2 games aren't going. We'll swap your bye weeks or something. I don't know.
So keep
it's
up
be kind
with
of
that
a
news.
Mess. They've done this before. Yeah. The Dolphins had a hurricane thing. It's possible. So just be ready.
The game impact would be the Titans versus Steelers. So you're looking at guys on your roster there. They're saying they could reschedule it. I have no clue how they reschedule it, but I think that game's not going on this Sunday. Honestly, if they're closing the facility Saturday, who wants to barely practice and show up to play the Steelers? And then the Minnesota Houston game, I believe could still go on if they don't have anyone come pop up positive on the test. But
I sure hope so. I have Deshaun Watson and Dalvin Cook, so
4
I'll be in trouble.
teams could be impacted. And for us fantasy guys, you're rostering some of these dudes, especially on Steelers and Texans there. You're not very happy with that news.
If there was any doubt before, we're about to see how bad COVID really is, or how contagious, because these guys are like huffing and puffing all over each other. If it's as bad as they say, then half the NFL is going to have it by week 5.
And the thing is, they're not gonna try to say there is a positive test if there's not. Like, they're going to try to get their players out there.
Oh, yeah. So. They're going to do everything they can. But let's go to something a little bit happier. It's not happier.
I don't know,
question.
dude.
I was going to say.
Let's go to the party question.
Ian, would you like to go to a party in my pants?
No, Brick.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, okay, the villain of 2020 being COVID. We're going to the villain in our childhood cartoon shows or movies.
Expert transition over here.
Little throwing it back. I hope it worked. So let's talk about some of our childhood cartoon villains that we just hated the most. All right, from a cartoon show, Disney movie, whatever it might be. I'm going to go over to Ryan here first. Who is that cartoon villain that you just hated?
I mean, Cruella de Vil still makes me just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Just the way that she is constructed.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just like, it's like a skeleton.
Just the animated version, but then they had that super creepy live action too.
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch the live action. Sometimes when they do that, when it was an awesome cartoon, I stick with the cartoon.
Freaks me out. I'm like, what kind of a sick mind is going to draw her up?
That's like, yep. Okay.
It just gives me the...
Sean, you might have to explain a tad bit about this one. This is a deep
I feel like I
movie
always
here.
go abstract with these. And
You very
people have
much
never heard of them.
You
but
were like a film critic at the age of 5 with your cartoons.
I guess. So this was Fern Gully. I don't know if anyone saw this movie, but it's basically what Avatar is based on by James Cameron. He stole it from this childhood movie called Fern Gully. But anyways, there's this villain in there who's basically this smoke/sludge/oil, and he is what powers the thing that's cutting down the forest with all the fairies in it. And that dude is creepy. If you haven't seen it before, or you've seen it and you can't remember exactly, it's probably because you've mentally blacked it out. Like, it is like skeletons and like... I mean, I just showed him a kid.
It was disturbing to me, and I'm 31 years old. I was like, how did kids watch this?
Yeah, maybe I'll throw up a little something here with a clip of it, but it is, Hexus. That was the villain, and
man.
he creeped me out, man.
All right, mine was Scar from Lion King. He wasn't as creepy as these two when it came to things. He just gave me the worst scene ever in my childhood.
It's true.
Right? Pushing off Mufasa and Simba finding his dad.
I still get the feels thinking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Scene. That's
Simba
awful.
saying, Dad, wake up. I'm like... I watched it again as an adult. I can't remember why. It might have been like the live action one coming in, and I wanted to cry. So I hated Scar, and I remember as a child thinking when I had to rewatch the movie, I was like, why don't the other lioness, the pride of lions, just eat the bad lion? Like, as a kid, I hated him so much in the cartoon. I was like, eat the bad lion. Let's just do that.
That's how you know they did a good job.
Yeah, they did a great job with it. But that was our party question. Not as fun, but we just thought that'd be something we can talk about.
We're feeling kind of gloomy today.
Because,
raining
villains in fantasy
Listen to
football,
757 and you'll know why I'm gloomy.
the villains in fantasy football often come in the form of touchdown vultures. And that's going to be our next segment here. Who are the ultimate touchdown vultures of all time? Usually the fullback or the backup tight end that takes
Backup running back has been a big one.
That was a big one too.
Malcolm Brown on week 1 of last year for Todd Gurley. I remember that.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you do, Chris.
I was a zoner. I was researching, going back, throwing in there. I was gonna throw some names, but their names like, I forgot about them, but they're relevant like 10,
Matt
15 years
Asiata.
ago.
I'll give you a name.
Matt Asiata. A touchdown vulture won me my one championship.
Yeah, like 3 rushes and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's Jordan
From-
Howard now. You have the modern day.
From
Matt
like the
Asiata.
1 yard line.
And even if you're like watching for your own team's sake and you see something, you might have another guy rostered and it's like a quote unquote no namer catching the touchdown for you. You're like, why? That does me no good. You should be happy for the touchdown, but you're mad because some Lee Smith is going off with a touchdown, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, a little peek behind the curtain here, and shout out to Jake Seeley. We watch some games with him at times, and it's really funny to watch him just see who the heck caught that. He knows who the player is, but he's not pleased because, of course, that screws up any ranking you possibly had when Lee Smith catches a touchdown for the Bills.
Yeah, it's just like a throw. It's just whatever. That touchdown's gone. Nobody can take care of that one. But let's talk about this week's fantasy touchdown vultures.
Yeah, and usually it's just running backs, but we had some wide receivers this week that just came out of nowhere.
I had to stop the names. Like, it was going on forever. But I want to bring up some of these guys because
they're probably going to be waiver wire discussions.
Yeah, the wide receivers that we're about to name might be pickups here. And I know one name was brought up here. But Cedric Wilson, I think he's Cedric Wilson Jr. Cowboys are slinging it.
His last name's Junior.
Or whatever. Was it suffix is what it's called? 2 touchdowns.
Grammar.
Who the heck was this guy? You got 3 other receivers in Dallas that everyone's got rostered.
Everybody's like, there's going to be so much to go around. All 3 players, start them up.
Yeah, Schultz at tight end thinking you get him. Maybe Zeke going in. But Cedric Wilson gets 2 touchdowns. Do you think this is somebody that people are going to start putting flyers on for waiver
people
wire?
will. For me,
too many miles to feed.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert, this whole list, I'm not picking any of these guys up.
True.
You can't trust anybody. You can trust everyone, and you can trust no one.
Yeah.
This is a blast from the past to me. Dontrell Inman in Washington.
I didn't even know he was still in the league.
I didn't know.
Chargers, right?
But I found out twice. He's with the Washington. Yeah, he used to be with the Chargers. He's the Washington football team now. And I had to be reminded twice this past Sunday that he was still playing because he caught 2 touchdowns when they should have gone to Logan Thomas or Scary Terry. I don't know why. Or Antonio
I feel like
Gibson.
this is personal, this segment here, Chris.
A little bit. When you play as many leagues as we do, some of these start to cross over. So Dontrell Inman, touchdown vulture this week.
31.
Andy Isabella. This was one that some other fantasy advisors were saying, hey, take a flyer, roster.
I'll say this
him.
is the only one that in a dynasty, well, I guess in dynasty he's probably rostered, but in other one, if you got a real deep league 14 team, I'd be willing to pick him up because they're going to pass the ball around in Arizona there.
Yeah, other fantasy guys are saying pick him up, but I wonder how many guys had him in the lineup, right? Yeah. Again, he gets 2 touchdowns, and I talk about vulture, that's taken away from Hopkins or Drake in the red zone. They were kind of deeper passes, but man, you'd rather see DeAndre Hopkins get those touchdowns, right? Or Larry Fitzgerald. Now we're talking about guys that probably nobody knows. Robert Tonyan, I think he's a rookie tight end over there, 1 touchdown.
No idea who he is.
Devontae Adams wasn't playing, so somebody had to get the ball, but nobody had him at tight end. Lee Smith.
We talked about him.
3 tight ends there in Buffalo, right? And 2 other guys are probably who you want to go to at the tight end spot. And old man Lee Smith, I totally forgot about him.
The Nick Boyle freaking taking my Mark Andrews touchdown.
That's the worst because there's was it 86 and 89, the numbers, they look really close.
I know.
So when I'm watching a Ravens
Ertz and
game,
Goddard are the big one for that.
Yeah.
88 and 86. So hard to tell.
It's the same thing when I see a big tight end in Baltimore catching big passes, and I'm like, Nick Boyle, no, keep him in the block. That's a Mark Andrews.
It just steals your joy though, because not only does he get that touchdown and it takes it away from you, but it's like next time I can't celebrate. One of the best parts about fantasy is watching live your guy score a touchdown, and you have to go, hold on, well, who is it? Who is it? Oh, dang it, it's Goddard.
And so that's really bad there. Goddard, at least you roster in there, but the number of things are crazy. So Boyle, he's been around forever, but come on. But then Anthony Sherman, what the heck? Shovel pass to him. You have all these weapons in Kansas City, and he gets a
Andy
one-catch
Reid. Simple answer.
touchdown. Yes, Andy Reid. Oh, and then even more Andy Reid. Let's go put the left tackle eligible, the extra lineman, and put him out. So only Mahomes gets the points in fantasy. I don't think you can roster a lineman in most fantasy platforms.
Nope.
No. So those are the touchdown vultures that, Sean, Ryan, you guys understand the pain of fantasy owners when they see someone take a touchdown away from their guy. It just makes you very, very angry.
It sucks.
Is there some kind of trend that people are trying to spread it out more than in the past, or am I just
that's
hallucinating?
what would be my point to the end of this segment is that don't try to understand it because it's too random.
Yeah,
you're going to have a week where none of this is going to happen.
It's random from a coaching perspective. It's random in a way because you want to surprise guys. So they say, hey, no one's going to go this. We got a few trick plays this week that we put in. Right situation. It's going to catch everybody off guard. Right. But us as normal Joes watching it, it's like, why'd you do that? Unless you're that fan of that team, like, yeah, we scored. But still, fantasy owners, why'd you give it to Sherman?
Yeah.
Why'd you throw it to the lineman? It doesn't make sense for us. So. Touchdown vultures can just make and break your weekend. Well, really, it just only breaks your fantasy weekend.
Yep.
So,
all right. Well, I think that's all we had for the main show today. Thanks for listening, guys. Again, shout out to our IGTV. Be checking that out. This man has been doing work on Twitter.
I'm trying.
If you're not following us on Twitter, he's really putting in the work and putting up some fun stuff there. So
yeah,
check us out.
FF Pod there for Twitter. We still post to our Facebook page as well. But follow us on all platforms so you can keep
share
up with
videos.
Whatever I throw up there.
Share them with anybody.
Especially the grandmas. So
grandmas and her friends.
All right, we'll see you on the 757 podcast.
Here's the thing, like grandma,
no.
if your grandma, watches fantasy, then she'll appreciate it. But if not, she may or may not.
She may not.
I mean, if you do know, maybe we can hook your grandma up with Jimmy Grandpa, right?
Jimmy Grandpa. Jimmy Graham joke. All right, guys, deuces.
Bye.